You're listening to the most listened to radio program around, Sordell Radio Experience. Famed, he's not an author. Is he an astrophysicist? He's a genius. This man is just, he's a jack of all trades. He knows something about everything. He is the one, the only. Nobody can, how do you even, you can't really give a description for Stephen Hawking. So I'm just going to say, Stephen, I don't believe that you've been here before. So this is it's your first time here on the Sordell Radio Experience. Thank you, Mr. Hawking. Thank you so much for being here with me on the Sordell Radio Experience today.
It is my pleasure, Darryl. I have been a big fan of yours for years. Somebody told me that you are an articulate Negro. I could not believe that such a thing existed, so I tuned in for myself, and I have been hooked ever since. When I was a little child, I was standing...
Wait, Mr. Hawking. First of all, let's calm down for just a second. I do appreciate what you just said, and it was it was flattering, I think. So you're saying that you had never heard of an articulate black person before?
That is correct.
And you decided to listen to my show. You found out that I was somewhat articulate, even though I was black, and you're telling me that got you. You wanted to go ahead and listen some more.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. I know that we don't have you for long, and so I do want to go ahead and get to some of the things that I want to, again, thank you so much for being here. I know that you don't do a lot of interviews, and I do appreciate that. And I also know that I was doing some research on you, Mr. Hawking, and I see that there was some disease that you were diagnosed with when you were a little child, and that took you through so many ups and downs, and finally you were unable to move and talk and all of that stuff. Do you mind just filling us just a little bit on that condition and how it happened for you? Do you mind?
When I was a little child, I was standing on top of a building trying to watch the girls in the shower in the all-girls school across the street. I got so excited when I was at orgasm that I fell off the building. My family made up some lie about a disease, but I am giving you the exclusive on the real reason.
Holy crap. Okay, so you're telling me, Mr. Hawking, that the truth is you don't have a debilitating disease? Is that the truth?
Yes.
And you're telling me that you were on top of some building while watching teenage girls showering, and I think you said you were masturbating during it?
Yes.
And then at a certain point, you reached orgasm, and that's when you fell?
That is correct.
That's I don't think that story has ever been told, Mr. Hawking, and I appreciate that you would do something like that here on the Sordell Radio Experience. I appreciate the fact that you would do that. So you're telling me, though, that you were actually being a pervert. You were kind of being perverted at the time.
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay, well, I don't want to, I hate to say you got what you deserve, Mr. Hawking, but, all right. Anyway, Mr. Hawking, if we could possibly get to some politics for a second, and I know that I don't think you've ever really discussed your politics. How do you feel about Donald Trump, sir?
Donald Trump is an embarrassment. He promised that he would get rid of the Mexicans, and he even hinted that he would get the blacks in line. The Mexicans are out of control, and the blacks are still reproducing at an alarming rate. I should have known this would be too good to be true.
Oh, okay, so what you're basically saying is you voted for Donald Trump. Is that right?
Yes.
And you voted for him because you assumed that he would take care of all of the Mexicans?
Yes.
And I think that you mentioned something about him keeping the blacks in line.
Yes.
But you're saying that the blacks are reproducing at an alarming rate, so this shows the failure of Donald Trump?
That is correct.
Okay, Mr. Hawking, so what should we do now at this point?
Screw the whole thing and just give this country back to the original Mexicans. I think you call them Indians.
Well, we call them the American Indians, sir. You call them Mexicans?
Yes.
Why do you call them Mexicans? I mean, they were here throughout the entire time, right? These are the indigenous people to this part of the planet. And you're calling them Mexicans?
That is correct.
So would you just see them all as the same people? Like, you don't necessarily, I'm assuming that if they're not white, they're all the same to you? They're like other?
Yes.
This is Mr. Hawking. You realize that this is probably going to make the news wire, right? I mean, I've never ever heard you say things like this when you're on other shows. But then again, that probably is because nobody really asks the hard-hitting questions like I do on this show, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, and I love the fact that you would come on my show and say things that you don't say on other shows. I love that.
I love you, Darryl.
Oh, thank you so much. Mr. Hawking, now none of us knows whether or not there's life on other planets. I've heard you say that there has to be life on other planets. I'll tell you the way I feel about this. I feel like there has to be life on other planets because there is no way in hell we could be the only one. We are an insignificant vessel of life out here. Mr. Hawking, have you ever seen any of those pictures where they say like you are here and it just shows just in the solar system or in the galaxy alone just how insignificant the planet Earth is?
Yes.
Well, if you go back further, then they go back and then they have some that shows the universe. You wouldn't even be able to find this spot. Like, if you were on the other side of the universe, you would not even be able to find Earth. It would be like, you know, trying to find a specific grain of sand on a beach.
That is correct.
So, you know, I definitely appreciate that. But anyway, but going back to you, what do you think about life on other planets? Do you agree with me that there has to be life on other planets?
There has to be life on other planets. No planet stupid enough to have Alan the token white guy can be the only planet with life.
Okay, that's a little disrespectful, Mr. Hawking. You do realize that, right?
Yes.
Listen, I don't like Alan. Nobody likes Alan. But if you're going to get on the show, you don't necessarily have to get on the show, you know, condemning people and talking about people and, you know, things like that. I think I might need to let you go, Mr. Hawking, because I'm thinking, you know, this interview has gotten a little bit out of control, and I know that your schedule is very, very busy. You probably don't have time to be talking to me anyway for any long period of time. They told me I only had you for 5 minutes.
Well, I am not exactly busy, Darryl. What do you think my day consists of? Running marathons.
Mr. Hawking told her funny. Do you run, Mr. Hawking?
Yes.
You know that you don't run. Mr. Hawking, you just sit there in that damn chair all day long. That's all you do, isn't it?
That is correct.
I know. That was pretty funny of you. You got a good sense of humor, Mr. Hawking. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Mr. Hawking, out of curiosity, please answer me this, if you will. Do you ever get horny?
Oh boy, do I get horny. I have a lady that helps me out in that department. She is not very pretty, but her hands are amazing.
Oh, wow. Are you serious? Are you serious, Mr. Hawking?
Yes.
And can you do anything? Do you just sit there?
Yes.
Yes, what? Yes, you just sit there?
Yes.
And she bends over and she uses her hand and she manipulates you in some sort of way?
That is correct.
Very interesting. She should be honored to help you out, Mr. Hawking. That's what I say. She should be honored to help you.
Well, it's not like I have an MCS-sized member. She can use her 2 forefingers.
You know, that might actually be a problem. If it's so you're saying it's very small, Mr. Hawking?
That is correct.
Like so small that she can use her forefingers?
That is correct.
So it's just like a tiny little thing there.
Yes.
Wow. Well, still though, you're Mr. Hawking, and I think that anybody helping you out in that regard, Mr. Hawking, this has been amazing. I really don't know what else to say here. I know that we only had you for a couple of minutes, and I honestly just want to thank you so much for being here.
Darryl, before I go, may I ask you a question?
Oh, Mr. Hawking, I don't know that that's the best idea because the questions and the things that you've been quoted as saying on here so far have not exactly been the best thing. I mean, go ahead.
I just want to know if Derek Gordon has killed anyone yet.
Has Derek Gordon killed? Okay, Mr. Hawking, thank you so much, sir. I don't know whether or not we will have you back, but I guess I appreciate your being here, but maybe I don't. This was really not exactly what I was expecting.
Screw this stupid show. I think I am going to go listen to the Radio Dan show and fall asleep.
Oh, well, you know, if you listen to the Radio Dan show, you're going to have no choice but to fall asleep. There's nothing else of interest happening over there at the Radio Dan show, trust me. So, yeah, Mr. Hawking, that's Stephen Hawking, everybody. What did we learn there? Well, he did drop a bomb here. He informed us that when he was young, he was on top of a building, I think that he said, and he was masturbating. And while masturbating, he fell off of the building. And then falling off of the building, that's how he got in the condition that he's in. I mean, that's pretty revolutionary. And I didn't know anything about that. All right, people. I got to recover from that. I'm going to take a break. Most listened to radio program around. It's this show.
Sir Darryl.